Hi guys, today I'm going to do another Jasper stone. I've done Jaspers before. This is a sea sediment one, but I'm doing it in different colours. If you look at sea sediment Jasper, they can come in all different colours. Some are just green and blue, some are just blue and red, some have got all the colours, you know, it varies. So I'm going with a colourful one, but before I show you the clay and everything, I just want to show you some of the cutters that I'm going to be using today. These are all listed in Joy Creations shop. I'll link her in the pinned comment and description, and these are all going to be in the Clayboutique section. So there's more, there's like 10 new Clayboutique cutters out, but I'm not going to show you them all in this video, but I'll just show you some of them and the ones that I might be using today. This one, which I love all of them actually. This one, which I really love, even though it's got a piece of chippy choppy clay stuck in it. I'll get that out in a bit. There's that one, and they come in different sizes as well. So if you want to go and take a look there, and also Debbie from Australia has them listed in her shop, so I'll leave a link for her as well. And Kaylee from Kaylee and Clay, based in England, will also be having them. I don't think she's currently got them in there yet, because she's working on getting them printed, but she's going to be having a Clayboutique section in her shop as well. All right, so you've got choices depending on where you live. Anyway, and here's these ones. I absolutely love these. These are, I think they're supposed to be fangs, but they look like horns to me as well. They're kind of cool. So you can see mirror image as well. There's those, and then there's these ones. Again, they come in different sizes, and this is mirror imaged as well. This is the larger one that I'm going to be using, and this one as well. Like I say, there's others. So just go and take a look at the new Clayboutique cutters in all of those shops. But like I say, you might have to wait for a little bit for Kaylee to catch up with the other two. All right, so let's look at what we're using today. And I'm using all Premo translucent here. You don't have to use Premo, you can use any translucent you want to, but I've also chopped up a tiny little bit of Premo turquoise as well. So that's going to be over there, and we'll come to the other bit in a minute. Here I've got some more chopped up. Now I've got some larger pieces already chopped up, and then some smaller pieces chopped up, which I'm just going to throw in to those. Okay, so they're two separate piles there. And then here I've got some more, and I've 3 equalish little squares of the trans, and then over here same thing, 3 equalish squares. Now I can't give you exact measurements, but the total amount of clay is probably about 1.5 2-ounce blocks. So you can just divvy it up as equally as you like, or you can make less, it's up to you. All right, so I'm going to start with the ones that I've already chopped up. Okay, so I'm just going to bring them over here. Actually, no, I'm not. I've changed my mind, guys. I'm just going to put that back. I'm going to start with these little blocks. So here I've got Cernit wine red alcohol ink and lipstick red alcohol ink. Whoops. And on those 2 pieces, I'm just going to drop some ink on each of them. So lipstick red on one. So let's go 1, 2, 3 drops like so. Let that dry, and then the wine red on the other one. 1, 2, 3, and let that dry. Okay, and then that's going to get thorough. Actually, I'm not going to thoroughly mix it. No, I am going to thoroughly mix it. What am I talking about? Ignore me. That's going to be left to dry, and then I'm going to thoroughly mix that into the clay. Okay, so that's that little section for now. Bring these 2 little blocks over, and for these 2 I've got grass green Cernit alcohol ink. So same thing as the other 2 blocks, if I can get the lid off. Let's go 1, 2, 3 on that one as well. Give that a little smear. That can dry and then be mixed in. And then this one is the lime green Cernit alcohol ink, and again 1, 2, 3 drops of that on there, and that can be mixed in. So there's that. So there, and then you've got the translucent block with each of those as well, with no colour on it. Okay, so I'm just going to pop them over there out of the way to dry, along with their respective little blocks of trans. I need to get a cloth to dry this off now. All right. Okay, so we've got this one section of chopped up clay, some chunky and some with the little bits thrown in as well. To that, I'm just going to add this Cernit Lagoon blue ink, and we're just coating that in the ink like so. This isn't going to get mixed in. This is just going to be coating the outside of the chunks, which means you get some lines and things. Okay, so there's that. That can be left there to dry. I tell you what, this ink is so pigmented. As soon as it hits this tile, it's hard to scrub off. It's that good. I'm just going to spray that with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just to try and clean it up. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one, the leftover chopped up pieces, again, some chunky bits and some smaller bits thrown in. And for this one, I'm using Cernit Sapphire alcohol ink, and that's just going to be coated in that. That's not going to get mixed in. Okay, so there's that. Now, some of the Jasper stones I looked at, you know, fairly translucent, but they also had some opaque little bits and bobs thrown in. Let's put that over there. So I'm going to just throw in some of the Premo turquoise. It's not translucent, so we're going to have a little bit of opaque colour in this piece as well. I mean, you could even add oranges. Like I say, it comes in all different colours, and you can do what you like. All right, so while it is mostly chippy choppy, I've varied it a little bit because I want to get certain looks running through the stone. I don't want it to just be straight up chippy choppy where it's just chunks thrown together. All right, let's go to this turquoise then. I've chopped it up very roughly. It's not a great deal, it's just a little bit. And I'm just going to get some copper mica powder, and this is the Meyspring mica powder from the gemstone collection, which is listed in my Amazon storefront, and they are my absolute favorite mica powders, the Meyspring collections. I've got several collections. I've only got 2 of them, but I know there's more. So I'm just dropping a little bit of mica powder in this, just to A, separate the chunks, and B, give these little chunks a copper outline, so it looks like a little copper vein running through it when you put it all together with the piece. So I'm just going to get it nicely coated, and because it's clumped a little bit, I'm just going to chop back through it again just to help separate those chunks, and that mica powder helps to do that. Okay, and I want these to be fairly small pieces anyway, and it's just going to be thrown into the mix at some point. Let's get that a bit smaller, like so. Give that a quick tumble again so it's all coated again, and that's that little section. All right, so I'm going to put that over there. So I've got to wait for all this to dry, but I'm going to put the ones that I just put the ink on top, I'm going to mix all those through the pasta machine so the colour is thoroughly mixed in. and I'll be back. I've mixed the greens into the clay and I've mixed the reds into the clay, and I've rolled each colour into little teardrops and put them together like so. And I'm just going to make these two into skinner blends. I'll do the one on camera and then the other one off camera, but you just put your little teardrops together like so. Make sure they're stuck together. Give it a little roll like so. Make it thin enough to pass through your pasta machine. And they're going to go in the pasta machine this way down, and then when they come back out the other end, you're going to fold colour to colour, pass back through, colour to colour, pass back through, colour to colour, until you've got a blend. I'll do the same with this one. Right, I've got my blends. They're very rough blends. I've not over mixed them, but you can see some of that green going into the trans. And now all I'm going to do is fold these colour to colour like so. So you've now got a strip that's going lengthways like that, and I'm going to pass that through the pasta machine on a number 5 on my Atlas 150, 0 being the thickest setting, so somewhere in the middle thickness or thinness, whichever way you want to look at it. Same with this one. I'm just going to colour to colour, and this clay is not great. I got it from Michael's because I'd run out. Normally I get my clay from Blueberry Beads, which by the way is listed in my pinned comment and description. Yeah, I got it from Michael's, and I think it's old because it's pretty crumbly, but you know, when it's like that, you just need to keep playing with it. Or you can get some Sculpey clay softener. You just put a few drops on it to help soften the clay. Alright, so get your triangles, get your rectangles like that, and pass it through the pasta machine with the translucent at the bottom. And I'm doing mine onto a number 5. So now we've got these longer strips like so, and I'm just going to roll them up with the translucent in the middle. Move that out of the way. I'm just going to start to roll it up into a bullseye cane with the translucent in the middle. Here it comes. I know it's off camera a little bit, and I'm just, because this clay is so crumbly, I'm just going to have to keep working with it. So I'm kind of rolling and pressing as I go, and that helps to get any air bubbles out as well, hopefully. But we'll see, because this is this clay's a bit rough. So I'm just rolling, pressing and rolling, making sure it's nice. A nice tight roll, and I'm going to do the same with the green strip. So then you've got 2 canes like this, and I'll tidy it up as well, some of these rough edges off of it. But you get the idea, guys. So you're just rolling that up, simple as that. It just adds a little bit of variation to your stone. Don't want that black on it, wherever that came from. Okay, so do the same with the green one as well. I'll do that one off camera, but I'm just tidying this up a little bit, making sure it's all nicely pushed together. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to get cut up, but there we go. It's just a simple plug with the translucent in the middle. Okay, so let me go and do this one as well. Same thing, translucent to green. Got my 2 little plugs rolled up, and I've like pushed them down so they're a little bit squatter, like so. So there's those. All right then, I'm still leaving these to dry for a little bit, so I'm just going to work on these. All right, so get your little log like this, and we're going to cut. Actually, I'm just going to take a little bit off the end like that, and then the bigger piece that's left over, I'm just going to start cutting down the sides, and that way you get a little bit of variation with each cut, and then also in the stone. Whoops. So that's all I'm doing. So you're left with something that looks like this. Okay, right, there's that. This one I'm just going to chop up randomly. I don't suppose it makes that much difference actually, looking at it now, but oh well. I did that anyway. So chippy choppy that up. Let's do some smaller pieces with this. Okay. And then this gets chopped up as well. Like I say, it just gives a little bit of variation. So you're going to see these little variations within the stone. I'm thinking I might have gone a little bit darker with the grass green. I think if I was to do it again, I'd probably add another 1 or 2 drops, but I didn't. So it is what it is, but you could do that if you wanted to. Not that it matters a great deal. Like I say, these stones vary a lot in terms of colour. All right, so we've got that chopped up. They can just be thrown together. I don't think it made much difference that I cut it the other way, to be fair, guys. So let's just do that. And then with this one, we're just going to do the same. So we are going to get somewhere it's just still the red. And then as you cut through, you're going to get the translucent popping through as well. And also some little striations. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a cool way to vary things a little bit. Whoops, I'm just going to keep that like that. And then chippy choppy that up. I'm going to keep some of these fairly chunky. That one's not going to make it in the pile because it's shot off the end of the table. Let's keep some of this really chunky. So like these red bits, the more red, I'm just going to keep chunky, and then I can just do a few little small bits as well. So vary the size of your chunks. It all adds a little extra to the piece, and that can just get thrown together. Okay, right, next step then, I'm going to bring back the green, and I'm going to actually add some more of that grass green. So this is going to coat the outside of those chunks. So a little bit more of the grass green on the green pile. Get that tumbled up. Way too much, Deb, way too much. Oops. Oh no, I'm going to get yelled at for wasting my ink. Yeah, people complain at me about wasting, well, not many people, but a couple of people have complained about how I waste my ink. Oh dear. Whatever. Right, so that's that one, and then I'm going to grab the red pile back, and on this one I'm going to add some more of the wine red. And again, that's not going to get mixed in, obviously. It's just going to be coating the outside of those chunks, but it's just going to add another little extra something to the piece. Okay, so that's everything, I think. Trying to think whether I should do, yeah, actually I think I will. So that's the red. Clean it up again. So messy. And I'm running out of rubbing alcohol, aka isopropyl, for those of you that don't know what rubbing alcohol is. I didn't know what it was. Now I do, obviously. Okay. Give that a quick clean. And then with the sapphire, no, actually I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave that as is. Never mind, guys, ignore that bit. I'm just thinking of something there. Whether to do something on this blue. Let me just quickly look at my picture. I have practiced this, honest, but I've changed it a little bit because I wasn't entirely satisfied with the colours that I used. And in fact, I already recorded this and I screwed it up, so I decided to redo it, which is why I'm doing it now. But I just want to double check my picture if I can find it. There it is. Okay, yeah, around the turquoise. So that's the translucent turquoise, and this is the opaque turquoise with the copper around it. I'm going to do the same on this. I'm just going to throw in, excuse me, I've got an itch. I'm just going to throw in some of the copper mica powder again, just a little touch. I don't want too much mica powder in this because I don't want it to be too shimmery, but I do want to add those lines around the blue, so that's what I'm doing. Just a little bit of copper mica powder, alike so. Try and get it completely coated on all sides of the pieces. Let's get a nice little copper line going through. I'll get rid of that excess. All right, so let's just throw all this together then. Well, I'm not going to just throw it all together. I like to place mine a little bit more strategic, like the stone. All right, so, and I forgot to mention, you're also going to need some gold leaf, or that's copper leaf, sorry, copper leaf, and some translucent liquid clay. I'm using Kato Clear. You can use Scorpy, doesn't matter which, or even Cernit. Cernit's got the liquid clays as well, but it needs to be translucent. I think I've thought of everything. I think, yeah. All right, so the liquid clay then, I'm just going to put a little drizzle on each pile. I'm going to try and not overdo it because I usually put too much on and then it ends up really sticky. Just a little bit on each pile, a little bit more with the mica powder ones because the mica powder resists the clay a little bit. Let's go with the red first then. Let me scratch my nose again. It's driving me crazy. Oh, right. Now I'm not putting any mica powders in these other bits. So it is what it is. I usually do the mica powder to help separate the chunks, and then that can usually help me see whether I need to chop any more, but I've already chopped these to the required size, but I'm not going to lump it all together, so I'm just going to separate a little bit here in one pile and a little bit here in this pile, and we'll come back to the smaller pile in a second. So that's that. So I'm just going to put the red here for now. Just start clumping it together because you're going to form all this into a typical chippy choppy block. Then I'm going to get the green and I'm going to mix that, and I think I've made way too much green, guys. Oh dear. But you know, if I use it all, I use it all. If I don't, I don't. And I'm just going to get that green and I'm going to put a little bit, not that much, like so, and just kind of wrap it around a little bit on the red, like so. And I've got to wipe my hands because that's extra sticky, so let's do that and just try and start forming that. Okay, let's get the tiny bits of the opaque turquoise in copper mica powder, and I'm just going to add little bits of that here and there. So I'm just going to add a little clump of that just here for now, but you can do this any which way. If you want to just toss it all together, you can, but I like to be a little bit more, I don't know, I wouldn't like to say precise, but more like what the stone looks like, where the colours are quite separate from each other, and then sometimes there's some bits mixed in as well, so you can just kind of play with it. Okay, so there's that, and it's getting very messy here, but it is what it is. Now I'm getting that sapphire, tumbling that up in the liquid clay, and I've deliberately left these quite chunky, and that's just going to get thrown here and there as well, and I might even put random little bits down here. See what I mean? You can just kind of place wherever you want to, but at the same time kind of keeping the colours a little bit separate from each other. That's just how I like to do it, guys. Okay, let's put a big chunk of that there. So there's that. Just make sure it's sticking together. I'm going to grab the rest of that red, and I'm just going to put a little bit here. And again, some of these pieces were quite chunky. I'm going to put a little bit here, and then I'm going to bring the translucent turquoise with copper mica powder, and I'm just going to pop that somewhere too. So you're just building up this stack. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to bring that around a little bit too. So like I say, there was close to 2.5 blocks of clay, so it's quite a big block. So if you want to downsize it, you can. Just bear in mind, if you're using less clay, you might not want to add quite as much alcohol ink, but again, that's not a great issue either with a stone like this. So, oh my goodness, I'm sticking to everything. Hang on, let me just wipe my hands off. Just going to bring a little bit more around here. Let's bring the rest of, or some of that other blue back in there. And I'm just really literally placing little tiny bits here and there now. Okay, I think we need a touch more of the turquoise, so I'm just going to pop that there. If I don't use all of it, I can use it for something else, it's no biggie. But it's looking like I might, except for the green. Just pop that there. A little bit more green then, just to use some of it up. Just a little bit. So I'm not going to use any more of that, guys, but I can just chop up a different colour, mix it together, and you've got a nice chippy choppy. All right, so I'm just going to throw these together now, so they're kind of a little bit mixed up, because it's fine to do that too, and it just adds a little bit of variation. All right, so when you've got everything together, you need to start forming it into a block, but I'm just going to clean up a bit, guys, and I'll be back. So I'm forming all this into a nice little block now, so you just need to keep turning it and squashing and getting it all nicely stuck together. Okay. Okay, I've got myself a nice muddy looking block. And this is a block, guys, this isn't a cane. Some people call these blocks canes. They're not canes. A cane is when you've got an identical pattern running all the way through, like you've seen me do. This is random pieces stuck together. It's not forming an identical pattern all the way through, so therefore it's not a cane. Just thought I'd say that. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say is, because people ask me this as well, when you're doing chippy choppy like this, it's not necessary to pre-condition your translucent clay. It's getting conditioned now. It just helps if you chop it straight from the block, unless of course you're adding colour like I did. But you know, like the green, for example. Oh no, the green was mixed, wasn't it? But the turquoise and the sapphire wasn't mixed. I just poured the ink on top and coated it in the ink. I didn't precondition the clay. It just helps to keep your pieces nice and separate and a little bit sharper. But it's getting conditioned now. Now it's being formed into a block. It's nice and soft, okay? But people do ask me that, so I just thought I'd say that. I'm going to put some gold vein in. So you know the score if you see my other videos. I'm just going to cut in random places, add a little bit of liquid clay, like so. It's better to do it on both sides of the cut. If you've seen one of my videos, I forgot to do it on both sides of the cut. because metal leaf doesn't like to really stick too well, especially to itself. So I always put the clay on both sides of the cut, and I'm just going to grab some of this copper leaf like so, quite a hefty amount because I want the veins to show through. It's sticking to my finger. Okay, so just do that and then piece it back together like so. All right, so that's going to give you a little bit of a copper vein. And I'm just going to do the same thing in a few other places to give me some more veins. I just added a couple more cuts. You can put as many in as you want. Some of these stones are quite heavily veined, like the surface veins. I'm guessing that's the sediment part of it, where it's settled on the surface. I mean, I could be wrong, I'm just guessing. I'm not an actual geologist. I just look at stones and try and replicate them. Sometimes they're not 100% accurate, sometimes they're not even 70% accurate, but you know, it's a representation of the real thing. I try and get them realistic, but it doesn't always. I think they look realistic. They don't always necessarily look like the stone I'm trying to do. Not 100% anyway. But they represent that stone, if that makes sense. All right. Just going to start taking. I'm scared this is going to go all squidgy on me, because when you've got that liquid clay in there, it tends to slide around a little bit. But if that happens, don't panic. So I'm just going to take a fairly thick chunk, because you know I like my stones thick. And there's that one. So as you can see, for those that are beginners, some of the translucent was mixed with alcohol ink, where I mixed the colour in. So that's these bits here where it's completely mixed. Where I just put the alcohol ink on the outside and just tumbled it in the ink, you're just going to get lines of that colour around it, but the centre is going to remain just clear translucent. I hope that makes sense. It's just a different way of, it's just a way of getting a little bit of a different look in a stone. You want some like purely translucent and other sections not so much, depending on the stone, of course. All right, so there's that first bit. I'm not going to make a ton. I haven't got enough to make a ton anyway, but I do want to show you some of these Oh Joy Creation cutters, well, Clayboutique cutters that Oh Joy Creations created for me. And they're also going to be in those other two shops that I mentioned. All right, let's go with I'm gonna have to roll these out a bit bigger, I think. So I'm just going to take that out a little bit. But can you see what I mean by doing all those different things with the chippy choppy? You've got this variation. Can you see that? And that's what I was going for, guys. Make sure it's stuck down nicely. And I'm going to go, or shall I go with the two fangs and make earrings with these ones, with this one? Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I'm going to use those fang ones and I'm going to make some earrings with them. I'm just going to roll it out just a little bit more. I don't like to make my earrings too thick, because then you have a hard time getting the jump rings in and whatnot. So I like to roll those out a little bit thinner. Right, bear in mind that some pieces you'll be resin in as well, so you don't want to, again, you don't want to make them too thick, in case it'll be hard to, you'll have a hard time getting the jump rings through unless you use a big one. But then I think big ones look a bit silly. I don't know, it's all on you guys what you like, but I just roll mine out a little bit thinner for that reason. I'm trying to get as much of the different colours in as I can. Let's cut that one out, give it a little wiggle. Make sure it's gone all the way through. There's that one. And then I'm going to go over here for this one. Or should I turn it that way and get... No, it looks better that way. And that's the other thing, you can kind of move your cutter around to see what looks the best to you. Okay, so I'm going to go there with that one. And that can become, they can become earrings, I think. And then there's little bits left over. You can just piece them back together and make something else. That's what I do. Oh, that's kind of cool on its own, look. But I'll just stick them back together, roll them back together and make something else. So there's those. Just give them a little tidy. Let me grab a tile. I'm going to bake these on a tile, guys. So I'm just going to pop them on there like that. Give them a little tidy on the edge. Make sure they're pressed down on the tile so they don't warp. And then just a little spritz of isopropyl alcohol and a wipe and just give it a quick clean. Make sure the edges are nice and smooth. Okay, so there's those pre-bake. They're going to look different again once they're baked. Because of the nature of translucent clay, it kind of just reflects the colour. All right, so there's those. They're rather lovely. Okay, I want to go with this one. I absolutely love this one. So I'm going to cut not as thick a chunk for this because it's got the smaller spaces in there. You don't want it too thick because the clay is just going to get caught up in it. But bear in mind that I'm going to resin this, so it's going to add thickness when I resin it as well. Okay, so let's just mush that a little bit. Needs stretching just a fraction. So this one is quite thin, but that's fine. And I'm just going to pop it on there. Which way do I want it to go? Let's just pop it there. So there's that one. Make sure you give these ones a good wiggle, the ones with the smaller cut out areas, to make sure it all comes out in one clean piece. I'm not going to guarantee that I'll do that because sometimes I don't, but hopefully it worked. There we go. Nope, a bit broke off, look. See, that's what I mean about these smaller cutters. You've got to be so careful. So that's a my bad, but oopsie. I'm just going to do that. I probably didn't have all of the clay completely stuck to the tile, so it's not the fault of the cutter, it's the fault of the user. So I'm just going to have to make do with that one. I can always make another one and show you anyway. So there's that, and there's more pieces that can be utilised. All right, let's do this one, I think. And I'll re-roll and do that one again because I'm not happy with that, guys. I suppose it looks all right as a tiny pendant, but I'll do another one. Okay. So I'm just trying to condense this a little bit so I've got enough thickness to cut in half. Like so. Right, let's give this one a quick roll, and it's got to accommodate this, so it's got to be stretched. I'm just going to roll it that way. And that's going to be interesting. See these really big chunks of translucent with the sapphire going around it. I really like the look of that. Is that going to fit? just a little bit more. Oh yeah. Again, just a little bit more, I think. So there's that one. Oh, this one, I think this one's going to look gorgeous. I really love that big chunk there. Okay, so there's that one as well. So I've got a little bit left, and I've got pieces left that I can just piece together like so. I'll just quickly show you. Just piece it back together. And it's not going to look exactly like the stone you've been trying to make, but, you know, waste not, want not, guys. So just piece it all back together, roll it out, and cut yourself some more pieces. All right, so there's that one too. That one's going to look gorgeous, guys, just saying. So I'm just going to remove that one because I screwed up. So I'm just going to do these two on camera, and I'm going to redo that one. I'm going to go and bake them for an hour, and I will be back. Okay, guys, I baked my pieces. I resined them. If you don't know how to do that, I have got a video on how I resin my pieces. It's called How I Finish My Pieces. Excuse me. I will leave a link in the description and also in the pinned comment, so you can look either there or the pinned comment. So there's some earrings that I did. They're the fang shaped ones. I've got to go back and sand the edges a bit better than that. I don't resin my edges, guys. I just sand until they're nice and smooth. But I've just added these pinch bail earring hooks, which are rather convenient in my opinion. Let me just show you them. They look like this. So you've got a little pinch bail there, and that's the hook on the other side. So I just drilled some holes, a hole in, push the pinch bail through, and you're good to go. So there's those. Absolutely love those shapes. I'm thinking I might have to change the findings on these though, because I did cut these rather thick, but just so you get an idea. And I just love how those pinch bails kind of come down the front a little bit. So there's those ones. And then I did these with the leftover. I just pieced it all back together, so they still do look a lot like the Jasper that I was trying for. And I'm actually so happy with this Jasper, sea sediment Jasper. I really do think I captured it quite well. I know I just said previously that they don't always look exactly like, and some of them don't look exactly like, but I think you get the idea that they are the stone I'm trying to make. So there's those again, just resined front and back, and those gold pinch bails with earring hooks. Oh, that's the wrong way around. That goes that way. This shape cutter isn't a new Clayboutique one, but it is, I don't know whether it is a Clayboutique one. Either way, they're in Joy Creations shop. So there's those. So 2 pairs of earrings. I don't make enough earrings, I don't think, so I'm trying to be good and make more, especially as I'm now trying to, well, I say now trying to, but I've got a better audience on my selling page on Facebook, which I'll also link if you're interested in looking at some of the pieces I've got for sale. Excuse me, not everything on there is from tutorials, and I don't know, there might be something you like, but anyway, I'd appreciate it though, guys, if you do follow me on my selling page, that you don't discuss videos and how I made it and how do I do this and how do I do that. That is purely to sell my pieces. Any questions you've got about clay, please ask them on YouTube. Thank you. And there's that one. I redid that shape. I absolutely love it. Now this is a smaller piece for me. I think I've used the largest of those shapes, but I'm getting more and more drawn to the slightly smaller pieces, and I just love this. And all I did with that was drill a hole. Again, I did a pinch bail. You can see either side that you just push it through the hole, and then I added a simple red cord. Well, it's cord and organza ribbon. You get a whole, I just ordered a bunch of them, and they come in different colours like this. I'll list those in my Amazon as well. So there's that. I really like that. This one I've not finished because I'm waiting on some beads to arrive, but for now I've just pushed some leather cord through, and then when I come to finish I'll add some what do you call those things that you put on the cap ends, whatever you call them, and then add a jump ring on either side, and then a toggle clasp, which looks like this. I also have these listed. So you put a jump ring through the hole there, and then on, like I've got one on here already, look, there's a jump ring there, and then you just attach it to your necklace or chain or whatever it is you're using. And then last but not least, this is my favorite. I did a simple wire wrap around the top. I don't do videos on wire wrap. I just, you'll have to look up videos for yourself, but it's just a simple wire wrap, resin front and back. I love this one. And then I found this gorgeous chain, again listed in Amazon, and it's got all different coloured rhinestones in it. I just think it's so pretty and so delicate. So there's that. And then that's just got one of those toggle clasps on the end, so you can see you just put a jump ring either side and attach it to the end of your chain like so. All right guys, so they're the pieces for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you all so much for watching, and boop, I'll catch you later. Bye.